Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of the Big O Butt Wrestling Podcast. It's Two Chains along with Silly Sellis and Jamal at Giant Crab. I always realize I introduce you at Jamal at Giant Crab. And the reason why I do that is because Jamal is he is BGB, but also he does his own thing with his movie reviews and so on. So make sure you pay homage to the work he does there. So visit him at his Twitter page at Giant Crab. Also, you can visit see all his movie reviews. And I mean, when I say reviews, you're not getting them like the week that the movies come out. You're getting them up to a week, up to a month ahead. So keep ahead of the curve to see what's coming out, what's worth watching, what is worth spending your dollars on as far as movies that's coming out, especially with the summertime with so many big catchy names coming out, but are they really worth seeing? So with that being said, Jamal, again, state your website and what is worth seeing this week?
You can find my movie reviews at the Rabbit Hole, rabbithole.com. But what's coming up to this weekend? The Mummy with Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe. And basically, Universal is trying to do all of their old monster movies in one, expanded universe. So it's The Mummy this year, Frankenstein's coming, Wolfman, The Invisible Man, Dracula. They're all going to be in one thing because, sure, I guess. Surely it's an answer to Warner Brothers monsters with King Kong and Godzilla, and they're going to be in their own thing. So Universal wants to get a piece of that universe money. As far as this movie, it's not the best start. It's an okay zombie movie, honestly. But are you seeing this movie knowing that the other guys are coming next going, yeah, give me more? Well, really not. Tom Cruise is pretty good as usual. That he runs a lot as he typically does.
True.
But it's not bad. It's just not great.
I saw a quick review, and the headline that pulled me in because I usually don't even pay attention to other people's reviews unless they're friends of mine. It said maybe Tom Cruise's worst movie ever, and I was like, "There's no way."
No. No.
I was like, "There's no way."
No, it's definitely not his worst movie ever, but it's not the best. I mean, it is a mixture of like Resident Evil and Mission Impossible. That's part of the problem because that's not what we need from the Mummy.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, who?
Sophia Boutella.
Who?
The girl who was, I guess, the zombie mummy thingy.
Oh, meh. That's part of the problem is that we've seen it all before, and it's not that like they're not doing anything differently. They're not doing anything where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is how you're going to set themselves apart. The story is pretty typical. It is not a reboot of the 1999 Brendan Fraser series, but it is kind of like they're going to go in their own. They're going to go their own way with this whole dark universe thing. It's just that they're not doing anything that I haven't seen before. And if you've seen the original Mummy, it's a similar story, obviously, but it just is a big ball of okay when it really needs to be better. Really, really needs to be better. As far as Tom Cruise's worst movie, I would say that Night and Day was horrendous.
Oh, terrible.
Oblivion was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was. I like the Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow was fine. Yeah, and everything else is pretty average, but yeah. Oof. Oblivion was pretty rough. So it's okay. It's worth seeing, but I wouldn't go tonight and see it. I would see it tomorrow morning in a matinee price.
Okay.
It's worth about $7.
Anything? Any other? Hold on, I'm trying to look right now. What's coming up this weekend?
One
The
other
Mummy,
thing that's
Wonder Woman,
interesting.
Captain Underpants. Any of that? My Cousin Rachel. That seems to be a
If
good movie.
you like Captain Underpants the book, the movie is it's true, but you know your kids will like it. Um, My Cousin Rachel, I did not see, but that opens this weekend. There's this Chinese movie called God of War. No, it is not anything close to the gaming franchise of the same name, but basically Chinese soldiers try to protect this town from Japanese pirates, and all hell breaks loose. So that was actually very good. It's in limited theater, so you're gonna have to search for it, but that was very good. That
What
came out
about
last weekend.
What about Megan Levy and It Comes Tonight?
Megan Levy is about a ex-Marine who was she had a canine unit in Iraq.
Yep.
The dog, who was retired, was just going to be retired and put down because the dog has PTSD as well. Well, Megan Levy, who saw this dog, worked with this dog saved her life. Rex was his name. Is owned by the Marine Corps. So unfortunately, if the dog wasn't up for adoption, the Marines didn't care, and they were just going to put him down. And Megan decided to say that, you know what, nah, Rex needs to come home because he should be as deserving as any other veteran. And Rex did work. So the movie was actually pretty good. I forgot about that one because I saw it like a month ago. But the movie is actually pretty good. And we see Megan and her, how she's making it through her time in the Army, or the Marines rather. It wasn't easy. Her life really wasn't that great beforehand. And it's, she didn't have much in her life going on, and she creates a bond with this dog who was just honestly kind of like her, kind of rough around the edges, not really much going on. And that's, they meet, bond, and then next thing you know, her time is over and Rex's time is too. So pretty good stuff. I would say that's actually worth seeing. It Comes at Night is your typical horror movie. I didn't see it, but friends of mine that did say it was pretty basic.
So at this time, Jamal, going in mid-June, would you say Get Out is still probably your best movie of the year so far?
And would you say Wonder Woman is a close second?
I did not say anything about Wonder Woman because I did not see it because I don't care.
Boycott
Okay.
Woman, Here's Superhero 2017.
Yeah, I refuse to see Wonder Woman. But yeah, no, Get Out is probably the best American movie that I've seen this year. I would have to say maybe Bahubali too, an Indian movie, is probably my favorite movie of the year so far.
I have to see that as you keep bringing it up. Actually,
Yep.
it was available. I think it was available on my flight, one of my flights, but time difference was killing me. But okay. By the way, too,
the Mayor, South Korean movie. That's number one for me. That's the number one movie for me this year.
Who?
Gotcha.
By the way,
the Mayor. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, The Mayor, South Korean movie. That's the one you need to see. But I've also seen, just so that I don't forget, Pirates of the Caribbean is trash. John Cena in The Wall.
Don't agree.
I know that I didn't. I know that I didn't talk about it too often, but that was actually pretty good. He wasn't, was okay, but that was a pretty good movie. Definitely worth checking out. The Big Sick is about this comedian who meets his wife, or whatever. It was okay. The Mummy was all right. Baby Driver is kind of a big deal.
What? What do you mean?
Baby Driver. It's about this kid who was
No, I know what it is. Why is it a big deal?
Because Kevin Spacey, John Hamm, Jamie Foxx, Edgar Wright directs it. That's a big deal for a lot of people.
Okay.
Not for me though. And all of those actors did fine. It's a well-acted movie. The problem that I have is it's a musical.
Shut up. No, we gotta talk about wrestling. We got no.
So yeah, I mean, if you
we
see
can't
it,
the Sound of Music either.
Dude, I wanted to see that movie too, and I just couldn't. But no, no.
okay. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's a musical. They don't sing. You don't have Kevin Spacey singing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But this part of the plot is the baby. His name is Baby, and he is a driver for like Kevin Spacey, who's a shady like hitman type dude. For plot related reasons, he literally times his motions out to the beat of whatever song he's playing.
Oh,
so
that's
all
right.
of his actions are in step with whatever the music is. So if you like that fact of like Guardians of the Galaxy, where something would happen and then they would play an appropriate song to that, which I find very annoying, it is literally a driving point of the movie. People will like it. It's going to be a big deal at AwesomeCon next weekend. It's getting a lot of press around the circuits and stuff, but I don't like music over shadowing a movie. Unless it's a musical, then this one is a musical. But yeah, that's about it until like the big stuff comes out. Transformers, end of the month, boo. But there's some stuff around the world that's very interesting that's coming out too.
Cool. Just to go ahead and throw a plug in real quick. I did a review over with my friends over at Three Black Geeks for. Well, I'm gonna get so tongue tied. I did a review over with my friends over at the Three Black Geeks for Wonder Woman. So when the episode, which should probably be uploaded by now, definitely step over to their Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, website, all that at Three Black Geeks to check out myself talking Wonder Woman for about an hour or some change. So do that. Anyway, let's get into some wrestling. It's been a while. We took a vacation last week. I decided to go to an island and get stranded for about a week, which was absolutely amazing in Hawaii. So shout out to that.
You were stuck on Staten Island for a week?
No, I'm stranded on an island in Hawaii.
Or Jamaica, Queens? Oh, never mind.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it was Long Island.
While the rest of the crew tended to their other hobbies, finishing up some work and just resting. So just a week away, but I know you guys missed us, but we're back. And a lot to talk about, a lot to maybe ramble about, whatever. So we'll try to cover up and get back into the flow of things after a little bit of rest time. But I believe maybe the biggest topic right now is still Jinder Mahal being the WWE champion, which I'm all for. Sounds like Silly Cells is all for. And
Best
I know
entrance
Jamal
of
is
the
all
year.
for. This is
wait a minute. I'm not all for the fact that this is the biggest story today.
No, not today. Not today. Just for the last 2 weeks of wrestling that we haven't covered. It happened. That's the big thing, because everybody was always like he wasn't a big enough name, and all the steroid allegations that follow him, blah blah blah. But the other day he pulled the trigger. SmackDown solidifying their name as the land of opportunity, and it continues to show wonders, giving a guy such as Jinder Mahal the WWE Championship. It is in the history books. Who cares of all the past legends and stuff? Who hasn't? But right now, currently, we're in another era of wrestling, and it is what it is. Of course, it's wrestling. Everybody can find something to complain about, and everybody has their opinion, which is fine. But this is happening. Jinder Mahal is the champion. Let that soak in for a little bit. But the question is right now that I'm going to throw around to the table is, well, how long do we expect for this to happen? First of all, and I know Jamal can have something to say to this as well too, TNA has just basically created history by being the first wrestling promotion to do a live show in India. Is that correct? I can't hear you.
No, that's wrong. That's dead wrong.
What is it then?
Well, TNA Global Force had been doing shows in India for a while, and then Jeff Jarrett before Global Force had brought a bunch of TNA guys to India in like 2010.
Okay.
For promotion. There was also another like local promotion that aired on I want to say Star Sports in India. That didn't go too well. So yeah, they've been pro wrestling in India definitely has a history, and this is an untapped market as far as the West is concerned. Basically, TNA and WWE trying to Chris Columbus the situation, but the long and short of it is that there's a large untapped financial market in India. It's 1 billion of them, and they all have TVs. Yep. So some of their highest social media interactions in WWE come from India. Number one, they speak English. Number two, it's 1 billion of them. So it's definitely a good enough reason to have them make some inroads there. As far as who can do it first, well, they've tried it before. Sanjay Dutt has been going back and forth to India for like the last 15 years trying to get some wrestling off the ground over there. So it'd be interesting to see how well each side does. But as far as starting their series, I don't know.
Yeah. So fact of the matter is, just to get back on topic, yes, you're right. I was just wrong. Checking my source, but I was just looking at that ad. Looking at that.
You fact checking me now?
No. I was looking at where I was reading this at, where I sort of say put that thought together. Nonetheless, Jinder Mahal is the champion now, and I like it. I like everything that he's done as a person to get back to this point, and he's the champion. I mean, we talked about it a lot 2 weeks ago on our last show. And, people didn't think he was going to be the champion. He is. But I guess the expectation now is how long? How long does this play out? The Indian market, as you said, is untapped potential. There's nothing better than your champion being able to pretty much man that tour.
Right.
So, WWE is a business all about making money, and they seem to be putting the pieces together to draw in some more revenue. Lord knows they need it with their ratings being terrible over the last few weeks. And as Jamal and I talked about offline, they're getting ready to have a show on the 4th of July, and we've known for history, shows on holidays do absolutely horrible. So, in an attempt to go ahead.
Rough go of it recently. The ratings for Raw are in the toilet. Even if they thought that they were doing well compared to what they were doing a year ago, they're still down 20%. It's kind of rough. With that said, a lot of people are watching the NBA finals. A lot of people are watching the NHL finals here in the U.S. Political news in other parts of the world have been taking over coverage of viewers away from England, and their general election happened yesterday, France, and so on. So there's been a lot of other stuff to watch other than WWE, which honestly hasn't helped itself by not being that very good. People are debating whether the Bayley Alexa Bliss segment was the worst segment in the history of Raw.
It was.
I don't see how that's worse than Roman Reigns' suffering succotash son, but it's still that's saying something. And if what you're being known for is having the worst thing you've done in 20 years, that's not a good look. Unfortunately, nobody watches SmackDown just because. I don't know why. SmackDown is clearly the better show, but they don't do the numbers that Raw does, which is kind of flies in the face of what people want. We can be complaining about Raw being 3 hours, but the better show is 2 hours and people don't watch it. I don't know what to make of it.
That's true. By the way, I was looking at Impact Wrestling official Facebook page, and they said that they are the first American wrestling company to broadcast this flagship show in India.
Was that a fact check, Jamal? On
Yeah,
that?
they also say that they own the Hardys gimmick. So I'm not willing to believe.
I really could give a hell, if it matters, if it's true or not. But that's just the point I was getting at. But okay, so nonetheless, though, like, where do we see this Jinder Mahal thing going on?
It has to last to SummerSlam, because if you build up Money in the Bank that you're supposed to do, you can continue to make him look strong for 3 months, and that's your solid summer season as your champion. And then you can make a whirlwind or whatever you want to from Money in the Bank at SummerSlam, and they'll still make a huge impact. You might even, do something where you have some type of cross promotion match. I don't know what you're going to do, but I just think he needs to continue to hold it. The build that he's doing is very great. I love what they're doing. And like even Jamal said, if you build up that Indian population, that should increase your viewership from the India, because you have a champion that's built from that area. That should make it even better for your company to try to get more ratings during the summertime. I think it's a good move. I think it's even better than what the Great Khali was doing. And the Great Khali is one of the biggest celebrities in India.
I think that I would like to see this last to at least Survivor Series, but definitely Royal Rumble. And the reason why is because who do they have that you would want to see replace him with?
That's my point.
Right, because we have AJ Styles, and he's a fan favorite, but he can always get the title and be over. That's not really the problem.
Yeah.
Who do they have? Orton? No. Boo. Right. So we talk about that line between getting the fans what they want and allowing some talent to be put over, but who? And I don't think they have a character yet that really deserves. There are a lot of interesting matchups that could happen. I would love to see Big E Langston versus Jinder Mahal, down the line. AJ is going to happen. Kevin Owens is going to happen. Sami Zayn is going to happen. But there are a lot of matchups, and I think we're just scratching the surface with this. Let it simmer and ride it out, because he's doing exactly what they want. He's getting worldwide press by, in Canada where he was born, in India where he's ethnically from, and he's getting booed here. It's the best of both worlds. Don't cut it short just because you want to move on to Bray versus AJ or something that we can definitely see later on. But with this gender thing, much like what they did with James Ellsworth, I'm not saying that Ellsworth should be the champion or whatever. It would have been a heck of a payoff for that experiment. But if he doesn't have the championship, what does he have?
True.
I don't know if the Bollywood boys and him are enough by themselves to maintain that level of heat that they need to be. They need.
I'm sorry, but the fact that he's a heel and he's not, I'm not gonna say respected, but he's not liked, makes him legitimately a heel with the belt. How can you not appreciate that? And to an extent, you look at people, like you said, AJ Styles is somebody that doesn't need the belt to reinforce who they are. And there's a lot of other people now that seems to be the certain way, like, Lord, I hate to say it, but Sami Zayn seems to be really chill in the mid-card session, where the belt, probably wouldn't make a big difference for him. But as of right now, he's still pretty much relevant. Jinder Mahal with his belt has elevated him from zero to hero, and he's relevant. And you're curious now because you want to know, as we're discussing, how long does this title reign last? What's next for him? Who's the next person that's going to come up to step to him? Who's legitimate is a threat to him in the Bollywood boys? There's a lot to be said here with him.
But see, here's the thing: could you imagine Luke Harper versus Jinder Mahal? Later on down the road, there's just so many matches that we don't really need to see, because in America, our biggest concern is getting the belt away from them, because for whatever reason we don't like them. Yeah. But around the world,
I think that's so funny that you said it that way.
I mean, but that's what it is, though. He gets killed here, and he's literally cheered everywhere he goes in his communities, ethnically, around the country, around the world. The Canadian government officially recognized his accomplishments. Yep. Same thing in Delhi State in India. It's It's a thing. And for us to be like, you know, boo, while the rest of the world is going, all right, I see what you're doing there.
Yep.
It would be, you could definitely set up a guy that doesn't have to be always be AJ Styles. We need to get out of the fact that there are 4 or 5 guys when they have the entire roster.
And that's what I keep arguing against D-Wayne about, and that's why I think Raw is suffering. When you have somebody like a part-timer like Brock Lesnar and you want to build him as the beast and untouchable, it hurts the rest of your roster because it's no point, because you're going to be like, oh, AJ Styles is going to win. Oh, Brock is going to win. Oh, John Cena is going to win. You need to develop these other characters where it seems like they have a chance for the land of opportunity, and it makes people want to watch it.
Yeah, you know, and this isn't a strong argument here, but even the fact that Jinder Mahal versus Mojo Rawley was a match that happened, that, you know, they built it as Mojo Rawley's the only person that's beat Jinder Mahal since he's been on SmackDown Live. It's like, okay, cool. I don't see Mojo Rawley winning the title, but how did this really play out here? And it was a little
right,
bit.
But that's the match that you want to have on SmackDown, though. That's the match that you want to save for SmackDown, and then you go out like, okay, it's Mojo Rawley right now, but what happens when he steps up against
the bigger,
maybe one of the Usos,
the bigger,
maybe right?
Yep.
So you got to build.
Yep.
You got to build. Let them build.
Look, right now we're gonna have to take 1 second to say that what's happening with Jinder Mahal is great.
It is.
It's great. It's what you want. I could have really, I could have done without watching wrestling while I was on vacation this week. But I literally kept coming to my mind and saying, you know, let me make sure I'm caught in material for whenever we talk. But I really was like, what's really the deal with Jinder Mahal? What's next for him? God, to be honest, what's the next pay-per-view? Money in the Bank? I was like, he can't be facing Randy Orton again. They got to be having something better. Once this Randy Orton thing is done, the Jinder Mahal tour is going to be absolutely untouchable to me. Absolutely. It's going to be worth watching. This Randy Orton thing has to just decease. Matter of fact, I would have been more happy if Randy Orton was in the Money in the Bank match, and that there was a really mysterious person that stepped up for this match, such as a Mojo Rawley. I would have been cool with that for a pay-per-view match. Or Luke Harper, who I even forgot was on the roster. I'm sure would have been invested for that one.
It
seems like you're trying to ask for a male version of what's going on between Lana and Naomi.
No. But see, the difference is that, and I agree with you to a point. The problem is that the on the other side of that, do we really expect Lana to put on the type of work that Jinder Mahal is doing?
That's it.
And I would agree, and I would say maybe not Alana, but maybe Natalia. She's already in the Money in the Bank.
Who I expect to win.
Nah. To me, we'll talk about that. But no. But right. Yeah.
Actually.
I agree with Jamal again. That the fact that Jinder Mahal we know can wrestle. He may not be the most phenomenal AJ Styles contender or the best, but we see traits of his work in NXT for all those people that's been watching for over the years. And that thing called 3MB, they had a little bit of a high moment, but nonetheless, he conditioned himself better. He reinvented himself. And from what we've seen now, the character and the development is all there. The mindset's there too. He's taking himself even more serious.
The only thing I wish, 2 Chainz, is that when we was in Dallas and we saw him right before we went to ROH, just sitting there by himself, minding his business, nobody came up to bother. I wish we would at least said something to him, just spoke to him, just to see the growth that came from that 2 years ago.
I said hi to him. I mean, but he was eating. He had his flip flops off and he was eating the sub. You're not gonna mess with the guy right there. But I said, "What's up, Jinder?" You know. Yeah. But no, I get you. But that's the thing. That's the reason why people need to go to indie shows. It's because of the fact that one day Cedric Alexander is in Alexandria or Fairfax, Virginia. The next minute he's in the CWC, and everybody's like, "Dude, this dude is legit." Yeah, well, you could have seen him around your neighborhood for $20 if you wanted. If you would have took the time to go do so. And you just never know who that next top guy is. Because, yes, that argument could be said for Drew Galloway. Could be said for Jinder Mahal. Could be said for Chris Hero. These guys are guys that everybody's invested in, either like or not like, but nonetheless, that they've been putting in the work, and now it's paying off. You're seeing with the resume of, I ain't gonna say the resume, well, what the career, or half of a career, when you invest in yourself, can do. And that's the thing. Chris Hero was around saying, Cassius was saying that he wasn't looking for no WWE. Look where he's at. Right. You know? But nonetheless, though, just to put my seal of approval on the Jinder Mahal thing, I'm invested with it as him being the champion, because you're going to have matches that you didn't expect that you wanted to see, and you're going to have people who really are just, mid-carders to undercarders, whoever it may be, step up to say that they want to go after the belt to a person that they feel like they probably could beat, who was just a mid-carder to pretty much being a jobber a little bit as the belt. So now people are going to step up and say, like, hey, look, besides the whole India coincidence, this is somebody that invested in themselves that got to the top. And maybe I should just try doing the same. I feel like talking smack and raw talk, whatever it is not scripted. So I feel like, they get a chance to, say what they want to say along the lines of their character. But they feel like, I feel like SmackDown is the place for opportunity where anybody has a chance to do so, and that we will start seeing sort of say matches and people come out of nowhere, the challenge for the belt, which makes it mean something to ultimately reinvent themselves. So again, kudos to Jinder Mahal. I expect this title run to go a lengthy time. I would love to see it to Royal Rumble, which we will be there, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So that's till January. And again, I can't stress enough. Jamal makes a great point. Until it makes sense that somebody takes the title off him. Don't this get, man, I tell you, if Randy Orton takes the belt back,
I'm gonna turn my favorite. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm really gonna turn it off on PlayStation 4.
It doesn't make sense considering that I'll say the roadmap of what they're trying to say that SmackDown is to revert back. It's almost like saying, Jamal, what was you always saying before? What was the catchphrase that before they said this was an opportunity? What were they calling? What were they saying? They were saying this was like a shakeup or a new era, basically. To put the title back on Randy Orton, but to say this is a new era is completely contradictory.
James, can I ask this question to you just as a fallback for you saying that? Just to how building, and I know this is totally out the ordinary, but just how to continue to build Jinder first at Money in the Bank against Randy Orton. Should that be the opening match?
Ooh.
No.
I would say opening, but before the Money in the Bank.
I agree before the Money in the Bank. I think the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men should be the last thing to go.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a great way to open the show.
I'm a firm believer that the belt should always be last, but because of the shenanigans that is around Randy Orton, I just feel like for safe bet, please don't put that near the end.
And plus, it is in St. Louis. You always open up the show with something that's hot. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's going to lose in St. Louis based on their track record of that, too. Everybody's been losing in their hometown.
Actually, I think the women's title match should start off first.
Yeah.
I'm scared for that match. I'm scared. I just hope nobody gets hurt.
I mean, look, Lana's been putting in the work. She's not Eva Marie. And there's no bad there's no bad feedback coming back from everything she's been doing in NXT. So
no, you said the women's match or the Money in the Bank match?
The women's match.
The women's match.
Between Lana and Naomi?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought you were talking about the Money in the Bank. I'm sorry.
I agree. But I think that should go first.
To your point of the women's Money in the Bank, and 2 Chainz and I talked about this off air, I think it comes from a condescending place to say, we're going to do this, but I hope they're okay. And because we're having a men's Money in the Bank match, and no one is concerned for anyone else's well-being. It's the same thing that Mick Foley did when he tried to mansplain the women's Hell in a Cell match and tell them that how brutal it is and stuff. But in the men's Hell in a Cell match, they said they want to beat the hell out of each other.
Right. I agree.
So
I agree totally.
If we're going to have a revolution, if it's going to be equal, then it is what it is. And we can't have a woman's Money in the Bank match and then say, nah, they're girls, so we're going to cover it and we're going to use footstools, or we're going to cover it in bubble wrap, or we're going to use styrofoam ladders or wooden ladders so that doesn't hurt as bad, or we're going to, give them chest protectors or something like that.
Okay.
We want to see them do the work. I hope that no one gets injured ever, but I'm not going to say, just put a damn easy bake oven in the ring then, if that's what it's going to be. If we're going to make these special concessions because they're girls, then fine, they can bake me a pie as well. But I think that's very condescending, and I think it's reflective of the fact that we're really not ready for a woman's revolution.
So in that case, Jamal, would you want to see Charlotte do a moonsault off the top of the ladder? Is that a requirement for this match?
If whatever they do and they do it safely, I don't care if she does a 450 off the Hell in a Cell cage.
Gotcha.
Through a plate glass. I don't care. If you think that you can do it safely to the point where you can sell it but not kill yourself, sure. I'm not saying that I want a mass transit incident or New Jack to come in and hit somebody with a Super Nintendo, but I don't want a kendo stick match where they tease the kendo stick match and then they go, but I'm going to hit you once.
Yeah, Sellers, you sound like you're in a closet or something anyway. But yeah. Look, crank up the intensity.
I'm not articulating right now, but I am ironing clothes.
You want to make these historic moments, but you don't want to make them what they are to live in the moment. Then why even do it? Yeah, the Hell in a Cell was PG-13. The kendo match was PG.
It was Canadian PG.
And again, nobody's stressing for them to go out there and go past their physical limitations, but we're saying that in the realm of their work, let them at it. Let them do what they do.
Triple H ripped his meat off the bone in his legs, in a match that wasn't anything, quote unquote physical. Vince McMahon ripped tore both of his quads. Just getting into the ring.
That's my favorite thing ever.
So I'm not saying, the injuries are what they are. Emma, who will be out for some undisclosed amount of time, landed on her elbow in a bad way. Yeah, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Yeah, she'll be coming back soon, but Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, that was a freak accident. Yep. Seth Rollins himself was another freak accident. So it doesn't have to happen in these, gimmick matches. But I'm just saying, if Charlotte wants to do a Phoenix Splash off of an 18-foot ladder into a Shark Tank, I'm all for it. As long as she does it
because the accents are accidents because of what they are.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, yeah. So hopefully we'll get that.
But speaking of that, and there's again, this is not a high profile, gimmick match or anything like that. Ruby Riott versus Asuka happened at NXT Download Festival over there in England. The match went about 5 minutes before being called off for excessive bleeding. Apparently, Asuka tried to put her through the ring steps, busted all the way open, Ric Flair style. So, ref threw up the X and called it a day. Obviously, that's not something that was intentional, and we do hope. And she got 5 or 6 stitches afterwards. But the idea is that that could have happened to anybody at any time, and we hope that she's okay.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we need to change the game. We just need to work smarter.
Yep.
I agree. I totally agree. I stand corrected.
Accidents are accidents. It's what they are. It's always going to be the same definition within the dictionary. So be it. Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar seems to be which is going to headline Great Balls of Fire, the Raw exclusive pay-per-view.
Greatest pay-per-view name ever.
I knew he was about to say that.
Give us the history of why this is the greatest pay-per-view ever. History, whatever you want to call it. Anyway,
well, if you're under 70 years old, you probably didn't hear it on the radio, but Great Balls of Fire is a song by Jerry Lee Lewis that came out in the 60s. It was a big hit if you're 70 years old right now, like Vince McMahon is. So I heard a report earlier in the week that the Jerry Lee Lewis, who did not get Axe permission to use the song. And so his lawyers contacted, his agent is the same agent that represents Jerry the King Lawler. And their agent contacted WWE, who got lawyers involved and said, hey, what are you doing? You're literally ripping us off. Pay me. They did. The show is going to go on. But, obviously it's interesting that can happen and be resolved pretty much under the rug and pretty quickly. It's, happened so fast, it's not even news. But we still have this Hardy's thing being dragged out. And the rumors is that Matt and Jeff are going to try to work something out with TNA while both of them are off. And congratulations to Rebby Scott for giving birth to Wolfgang Hardy. They're her second child. So Great Balls of Fire, greatest pay-per-view name ever. But Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, let's talk about this. And
realistically, this is being rushed. Edge and Christian agree with me. I really think this is the match that we should see at SummerSlam.
And I think that Samoa Joe was the absolutely right person to win. I predicted that, and I thought he was the right person to win. And I thought this was going to happen the way it was going to happen just because of what this pay-per-view is. This pay-per-view, Great Balls of Fire, seems to be sort of say a joke, but it's not, whatever. It's a filler. So I think when I say filler, yes, I mean obviously a placeholder, but also I also think it's an opportunity to feel, sort of say, how the fans respond to how this pay-per-view is being booked. Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar is the match that everybody has had on their radar since Samoa Joe was in NXT. He's came out and said it numerous times that he wants to work Brock Lesnar in all different sort of ways and form, from podcasts to tweeting, whatever it may be. It's happening. It's a big match, no matter if you like it or not. We don't care about the heels and face thing, whatever it may be. We just care that these are two big guys that should be able to stand up to each other. Both of them are both trained in MMA with MMA backgrounds, and across the board, this looks like this should just be an interesting match. Period. But it's happening in the wrestling platform, and I think it's going to be a good match, and I think it's a money-making match. Which, to that point, yes, it should be a SummerSlam type of match. But I don't think. So, do you think that they go through with it then? I really think that, like I said, I really think that they're going to deal with this match and the type of buzz that it curates and what the fans get back from it. To see, do we give a traditional WWE three-peat?
Well, I think you got a couple weeks until Great Balls of Fire. Personally, I think that they should tease the match, have Joe completely murder people. Him putting his hands on Heyman was a good look, but I think we tease Joe and Brock up until Great Balls of Fire, and then don't have the match.
So
I think how would you book that though?
So no, wait. So you're
just have them just brawl, and it's a no contest.
Yeah,
and then we set it up at SummerSlam.
I see.
And I'm talking about from the beginning, from jump when Brock comes out in the limousine or whatever.
Yeah.
You just have them wreck for 20 minutes.
I see.
And that's how you open the show.
Yeah.
Don't even make it to the ring. Don't even make it to the main event. And then of course you got Kurt going like, oh, what's the main event going to be? Whatever. The Fatal 5-Way is your main event. Sorry, no, they have that already. That's how Joe got there.
Yeah.
But you have well, they should have had that at Great Balls of Fire. But you have Joe and Lesnar just go 20 minutes to open the show, and they don't even make it to the ring because they've both been kicked out, sent to the hospital, whatever. And then say that Kurt is going to have an announcement on Raw, and then you can start building the number one contender, like the number two contender, I guess, up until SummerSlam, because we would have been a month away at that point. But it just feels really, really rushed. This is a match honestly, this is the match that should be at WrestleMania 34. because what else do you want to do with Brock after that?
But what about where's Braun Strowman fall in all this, though? What is his injury status? Is it going to be short term? Is it going to be long term?
Well, the rumor is that Strowman should be back before Great Balls of Fire.
Right.
Obviously, they said that he's going to be out 6 months. Would have put him around, January or so.
Yep.
But you can just insert Strowman wherever you want to go, and then you could probably have him feud with like a Balor or a Rollins or a Reigns or whatever again, and settle that beef. Because Strowman and Reigns said they definitely have something. They can just pick that right back up. But I really think that they should do everything that they can to hold Joe and Lesnar off.
You know what?
Until SummerSlam.
And because I feel like I'm being your best friend today, I like it. I mean, point of the matter is you want to book a person who's a part-time person that, wreaks havoc. We haven't seen it in a while. Samoa Joe's been wreaking havoc since he's been on the main roster. So how do you expect a peaceful conflict between two people being booked that way and for them to literally come down to the ring and say, okay, let's do this? I don't know what's going to happen on Raw, but nonetheless, nothing about this should be a traditional match, if even a match right away. There needs to be a brawl. There needs to be some type of send all 15 of your soft refs down there to break them up, whatever. It needs to be something like that. You do create the hype.
But I'm against it. I'm against it, though. I mean, what you're saying is great booking. But here's the problem where I have. You have your number one contender and you have your Universal Champion, quote unquote, out until SummerSlam, so you won't see them on Raw. So what are you doing?
You're going to see Jamal. You mean
he just moved himself.
You're going to see Samoa Joe. You're going to see Samoa Joe as your number one contender. He's going to be there for whatever point you about to say.
Joe is going to be there.
Yeah,
and here's the thing: you can keep Brock on the shelf until SummerSlam, whatever. But you have Strowman. Let's say he doesn't come back until SummerSlam. Okay, fine. If he doesn't come back, then you just go with Reigns, you go with whatever, and Joe murders them all. Still talking crap about Lesnar and Heyman and the fact that he choked out Heyman. And of course, the Great Balls of Fire. They don't even make it to the ring. It gets thrown out, and they just basically have a non-sanctioned match at what's the name at the SummerSlam at Great Balls of Fire, which sets up a no DQ match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, sorry, I got cut off there. Where did you guys hear me last though? I think I got
you were just about to make a point.
Yeah, I just think it hurts when you have your Universal Champion and your number one contender off Raw for 4 weeks. And that hurts because you can't build a show not unless somebody is chasing.
Why would Joe be off Raw?
Well, you said that both of them go to the hospital or whatever.
No, I said
that night. I said that, but that night, sure. But Joe comes back on Raw like, yeah, where's Lesnar now? And then, of course, you can start building that no DQ match at SummerSlam. But giving Joe a week off of Raw or whatever, and then you still have Balor, Rollins, and Reigns kind of left in the dust, because really the situation is, do we really need to see any of them in that situation right now?
No, not really. It's nobody else that needs to be there.
Right. So this is a situation between Lesnar and Joe. This is the match that people want to see. This is the match that's getting the internet hyped right now. And honestly, this is the only part of Raw that people are consistently talking about. And whether you like the Balor, Reigns, or Joe, nobody wants them to interfere in what Lesnar and Samoa Joe have going on. So let them work that. That is their program. Let them have that. And I think that Great Balls of Fire, which is less than three weeks away, I think, that is too soon. Give them to SummerSlam. The mind games, the backstage assaults, whatever you got to do. But you just have Joe running over people for the next 6 weeks. Yeah. I think that's what people want to see, because for the first time in a long time, we have a legitimate threat to Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
And Strowman, back down.
Yeah.
Reigns had some BS finish. Rollins, Money in the Bank cashed in on him. For the first time, we have a dude that goes, that's a bad MFer right there. What's Brock going to do now? This is the first time in a long time that where the onus has been on Brock Lesnar to prove himself.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Let me ask you this: you saying as a full timer on the roster? Because what do you call what Goldberg did this year? What would that?
And this is the thing: as big as they built that up, is anybody talking about Goldberg right now?
No.
Right. And I'm not saying that as like wrestling fans.
And they're not talking about him if they are in present tense. It's all in past tense. He might as well have never have came back the way they talk about him.
Exactly.
Right.
But Samoa Joe,
they didn't just close the door. They closed the door, locked it, and burned the damn house down. I'm just saying that people are talking about Samoa Joe the way they're talking about Jinder Mahal. Good, bad, or whatever, but people are legitimately interested for Samoa Joe versus Lesnar. And I'm just saying that you gotta save that for the bigger stage. WrestleMania passed, so the next one is SummerSlam. And this is something that has been brewing since Joe has been saying, like, I don't care who it is. He said that at NXT. I don't care who it is. You can bring Lesnar down. I'll beat him too. And you know what? After choking out Heyman, he's making a believer out of me.
So you good with that sleeper as his finisher?
Yeah. First of all, why don't you? First of all, it's a legit hold, and you know,
it works for Taz. It works for
it's a legit
Joe.
I'm just bringing D. Wayne's devil advocate in this in there because he hates it.
No, if he's not talking, if he didn't man up to come on the show today, then you don't speak for another grown man in a bats or something like that.
I got you.
D. Wayne, that's a call out to you. If you don't like his finisher, get out the text messages and come on the show and we'll talk it out. But none of that. It's a legit finisher, and
I have no problem with it.
You talk about Brock's background and Samoa Joe's background. A rear naked choke is going to put somebody out, point blank.
Right.
And
that's the thing.
And the motherfucker's not going to go on everybody, so it's legit, and it's a heel finisher at that. That's the biggest reason I like it. You know,
right?
Instead of him like, and shout out to Neville, who the Red Arrow was not a heel finisher. What am I going to do? Come out with the Rings of Saturn, bam, legit finisher, and you're just like, well, there's people like, well, it's 205 Live. He's a cruiserweight, should be doing stuff off the top ropes and. Maybe he needs something that's a little bit more aerial. What? Like, no, he's a heel. Give him a heel finisher. Call it a day.
I mean, this is the thing. We have King Kong wrestling Godzilla. And it's not a matter of, is that something that you want to see? It's just the point of who's going to win. Because legitimately, we can spend all day making a case for both of them. And I think a match like that I think it could be as big as John Cena versus Kevin Owens. Even though that happened on like a random Raw, that's something that should have been saved for later.
The story behind it too is as big as John Cena and Kevin Owens because these are fantasy matches that wrestling fans dreamed about that we're able to experience right now. And I'm not going to say in their complete prime, but not walking with a cane. And it's the right time.
And given what the situation is with Lesnar, considering that he is a part-time dude, like he doesn't wrestle once a month, he wrestles once a pay-per-view schedule.
Right. Once every 3 pay-per-views.
Right. Yeah. You know, we're not even guaranteed to see him to the Royal Rumble or Survivor Series.
Right.
If that.
Yeah.
And unless they have that in Vegas where he's not allowed to step foot inside of Clark County, then that may be another problem. But the idea is that this on paper seems like it's something special, and for them to rush it, to just put it out there as a filler for Braun Strowman, and that's really what it comes down to.
It really is.
You're telling me that Samoa Joe is a placeholder for Braun Strowman?
That's the way it looks like it.
Nah.
No, dude.
In what world does that make sense?
No. And you know, a lot of people are making it seem like Braun Strowman was the absolute resolve for the Universal Championship. There's no
it was until he got hurt.
There's no telling that he was going to be the one to beat Brock Lesnar. And to the simple point that he already backed down from him, Samoa Joe is calling Brock out. You know, so
I think I would want to see on Raw Samoa Joe in his monster truck does donuts in Brock Lesnar's yard and out there in South Dakota some damn where. I'm talking about him choking Sable out. That's what I want to see.
You know, the other thing about it is too, people, if you take 1 minute, I ain't gonna say 1 minute, but if you just take the time to watch wrestling and take Michael Cole off of it and actually evaluate what's actually happening in the ring, you will understand that if Brock Lesnar is being booked the way he's being booked and his resume backs him up for that, anybody that seems to be any bit of scared against him should not legitimately beat this MMA monster, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about it, it's like, well, who's going to beat this badass? It has to only be another badass. It can't be somebody that's like, well, I'm big and bad and I got muscles, but I don't know. I backed down for him when I saw him. You're not going to be sold on that.
But to be fair, that was before Strowman was throwing ambulances around and stuff like that. So that was before that. And they were building Strowman up. Well, I mean, hey.
And the other thing is, too, is Strowman above Roman Reigns?
Yes.
Can't tell. If you look at it on paper, they both got hurt from that incident. One person came back.
Well, true. That is true. But the idea is that Strowman was the guy that people wanted because people hate Roman Reigns. But if you're telling me that Strowman is better than Samoa Joe, we got something to talk about. And that's seemingly what WWE is trying to tell us.
That's what Vince McMahon is trying to tell you.
I don't know, man.
Samoa Joe is
that type of guy too.
I don't know about that. And I think that what should have happened, obviously, it should have been Samoa Joe versus Strowman, which leads on to whoever versus Lesnar. But, and that'll get you something, down the road there. But the fact of the matter is that WWE has a heel problem. And part of the problem is that their heels can't be bad. They could just be jerks. All of their heel champions are cowards. Kevin Owens is only really a heel in house shows, and he still gets crap for that. Samoa Joe is a legit heel, and he's doing heel things the way heels need to do them.
Is he your top heel in WWE of all Raw and SmackDown right now?
No.
Who is?
I honestly think that Jinder Mahal is.
Gotcha.
Honestly, I mean, I know that people don't get. I think Asuka is the best heel in the company,
and people don't even realize that.
But people don't realize it
because she's just so damn good. Charlotte. And before that, I thought it was Charlotte. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But
Charlotte was always borderline to me. It's like she wanted to be heel one day and face another.
No, she was absolutely heel all the time until she went to SmackDown. They started trying to make her a face, and they slightly are trying to re-pull the plug on that again. So she's better off here. Anyway, we talked about this for a long time here. What's next? Like, legitimately, the end of this conversation, Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar. Do we see the match happen again?
Excuse me.
I hope it's not a Great Balls of Fire. I hope it's a SummerSlam.
You said hope not? Just one.
No, I'm just saying, is this a one and done at Great Balls of Fire? Yeah or nay?
Nay.
It's hard to say. It depends on what Braun Strowman does, because it might be one and done if Strowman comes back. Now, I'm not saying they won't compete again, but one-on-one, it might turn to a triple threat.
But you don't automatically, okay.
It may.
I mean, the fact that that's a legitimate, situation that can't happen makes me sad.
Right.
Because nobody
wants to see a triple threat happening. Braun versus Samoa.
Let's get into everything else wrestling that's not so debatable. Some topics and stuff real quick to cap off our hour of wrestling today.
All right, so there's a lot of wrestling happening this weekend. Locally here in the greater Washington, D.C. area, Nova Pro Wrestling is doing a double header. It is Life is Like a Box of Chocolates, and that is at 3 p.m. And basically it's a tryout show. Guys, I think 25 to 30 men and women are coming in, and they're going to put on a show for you, $10 to get into the door. And the best male performer, is going to get a shot at the PWI Ultra J Championship in the triple threat match, headlining the night show. Heck of an opportunity. And of course, much like American Idol, the winner doesn't necessarily win everything, because some of the other guys who make a good showing will certainly be invited back to Nova Pro Wrestling. A lot of interesting guys. Zombie Dragon, I've never heard of him, but I really hope that goes over well, because I definitely want to get into that. And then, of course, the night show is High Fidelity at 7:30.
Can't wait.
Gonna be a good time.
Really can't wait for that. The Sanjay Dutt, who is currently, as we've discussed earlier at the with Mike of Nova Pro Wrestling, he's your X Division champion. So, spoiler alert, screw you guys. Why are you watching Impact anyway? But
F that Al.
Right. That's going to go down at 7:30. Both shows are at the Annandale, Virginia Volunteer Fire Department, 7128 Columbia Pike in Annandale, Virginia. It's in the heart of Koreatown over there. So get yourself some bulgogi, some daepugi, and enjoy the wrestling. Double show, double header, 3 o'clock at 7:30. It's going to be a good time. Other news that is going on, New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion.
Hold on. By the way, can you tell a difference in my sound? Do I sound different?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to need you guys to let me know if my mic isn't on next time.
I was just talking. I was busy occupied with ironing clothes. So I couldn't tell.
Come on, man. Sound quality. That's what we all aiming for. I know when somebody is doing something a little bit different. Notice how City Sellers was recording out of his washing machine earlier.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay though. I make things happen.
Let's continue.
New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion. And of course, the headliner there is Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada in a rematch from the Tokyo Dome show back in January. Dave Meltzer.
How many stars?
Dave Meltzer gave it 173 stars in that match. It is the single greatest wrestling match since wrestling was invented in ancient Greece, according to Meltzer.
It was written in the Bible.
So, there hasn't, like, Moses was the last great 6-star match. It was Moses versus Lazarus, 2 out of 3 falls. But interesting card. It's going to be another one of those like long 8-hour long shows. And of course, Dominion sets up the G1 Climax for New Japan and the G1 Climax US special, which they will crown a US champion. That is in July in Long Beach, California. But and then of course, in 2 weeks, we have Ring of Honor up there in the Boston area. And then Evolve is going to be around the area as well. So just so much wrestling. But I definitely want to say the Kenny Omega match versus Okada. It was regarded as one of the best matches of the year. Do you think that they have a chance to top themselves from January?
No. Nope. I mean, if the rating is a 5-star and they are seated with a 6-star, I mean, do lightning strike in the same place twice? Nah. I mean, granted, Kevin Owens and John Cena put on really good matches last year, 2 out of the 3, but all 3 wasn't great, and 1 and 2 were totally different, but both really good. So now this don't see happening. Look, first of all, this whole 6-star shit is BS. I'm just gonna watch it. Close.
Language.
Rewind.
Who cares? Who cares about the rating? So be it. Just watch the match and enjoy it. It will be a good match, and that's that.
Honestly, the match that I'm looking forward to is Cody Rhodes versus Michael Elgin. That's going to be awesome. And you have War Machine versus the Gorilla of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tangaroa. That's going to be awesome. I really, really, really can't wait for the entire show. They had like 10 matches on the card, but every match except the first one is a title match. So if you'd like to see your belts change hands, then Dominion is definitely going to be the time for you. I think it starts at like 2:30 in the morning Eastern, something like that. And they will have English commentary with Cyrus the Virus and Kevin Kelly. So that's going to be pretty awesome. So Impact Wrestling, because I know how much you love Impact Wrestling. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and I'm reading this from SESscoops.com, quote, TNA actually paid fans to attend their tapings last week. Impact was taped in a TV studio that had 500-person capacity. Everyone in the crowd was paid 250 to 400 rupees. That's about $3.80 to about $7.50 to attend the shows. Fans in attendance were also instructed how to react to wrestlers. Fans were told that heel wrestlers would enter from the left, so boo those guys, and babyface wrestlers would enter from the right, so cheer those guys. Performed the wave during several tapings. Unfortunately, those waves were not spontaneous and orchestrated by the MC at the tapings. We just talked about how important it is to get into India. If they're literally paying the audience to show up, how successful is your company?
Bad for them, but doesn't say anything about the natives of India. One, because do people in America even watch Impact Wrestling? Why would you think anybody else would?
Well,
And
D'Angelo Williams does.
Doesn't matter. He's a free agent right now, so he's trying to find something to do. So his storyline has been well over 2 years now, so he's finally getting a chance to be able to do something about it. Don't expect it to be good either, because
I hope it's better than Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman versus Dallas Page.
That was way better. Way better. I don't think D'Angelo Williams can take a bump legitly. But nonetheless, look, there is no John Cena going to India and no Jinder Mahal that's going to put butts in seats. So you expect to go there with DJ Z and, I don't know, Bobby Lashley and who? Nobody. Yeah. The only way they was going to get a reaction is the way they did and was to pay people. So not a big deal. This probably should have been on the segment of Do We Care?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it is a big deal, honestly, because they're paying people to go see their show. That's number one. Number two, they're literally telling them how to react in the show.
All right.
And number three, they paid them less than $10 to see the show.
Wait. Okay.
Okay. So wait. The point yes, that's the point. Would you take
Krabby,
this
would you do it?
bribe?
Yes, I can. I absolutely will take money to watch wrestling. Please pay me to watch your wrestling. Fly me out. I will be a fan for you. But yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my God. I hope they don't tax you for that either.
What else we talk about?
So, Lana versus Naomi is going to happen at Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Next subject.
Calm down, okay? For reasons. Rusev has been tweeting out on the Twitter, #thank you Rusev. Now, are we to believe that Rusev is trolling people, or is this his actual swan song from WWE?
I mean, if it's storyline, then the storyline. I mean, again, he's hurt.
Rusev doesn't have a storyline.
Yo, he does. His storyline, right?
No, he doesn't. His last storyline was, I'm going to come to Shane McMahon and I'll show up.
Right.
That was 2 weeks ago.
That didn't happen. So maybe I'm feeling like he's trying to keep that relevant by doing this. He's going to try to make it seem like this happened because of him.
So he's keeping it. He's keeping a storyline of him being relevant and staying in the title picture and demanding a match from Shane McMahon to thank you, Rusev. I'm leaving. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Hold on. Oh, it's thank you, Rusev. I'm leaving.
Well, no, it's thank you, Rusev, in the sense of that's what people generally say when they are leaving. For example, it was thank you, Undertaker, after WrestleMania.
I got you. I thought you were saying thank you because he made this Lana match happen. That's what I thought.
Oh God, no one made that happen. It just appeared. Yeah, that's no.
Okay.
I have no comments on that.
See that.
Okay.
The last thing about the news, then we move into Do We Care? John Cena speaks on burying his talent. Basically, he said in an interview that you have full reign to do whatever you need to do to accomplish what you need to accomplish. And generally speaking, if you need heel heat, then take whatever, there are no limits. You can do whatever you need to do. The Miz certainly did that.
Yep.
And was one half of creating that story of a nothing match, which was a great build that turned into a nothing match at WrestleMania. With that said, Cena says that he doesn't necessarily bury talent. It's just that talent don't compete at the elite level that he does. My question to you is, does Cena actually compete at an elite level?
Yes.
Or do you think that the whole talent Cena Barry Cena Monster Files type deal is? Do you think there's some merit to that?
Yes, it is. And it is. And it's all based on reactions. Cena knows how to get a reaction, regardless if you like it or not. He gets a reaction. Same thing goes for Roman Reigns. He gets a reaction, regardless if you like it or not. What people don't know how to do is they don't know how to step up on a microphone where they go outside the script to make a storyline or to make a storyline bigger in order to compete at the level that Cena did. As you mentioned, The Miz has did that twice. Once at WrestleMania 27 and now more recently at WrestleMania 33. What people need to understand is you cannot come with lame one-liners, lame corny jokes. You have to step outside the boundary to attack Cena. AJ Styles, successful. Kevin Owens, successful. But you have to have that mouthpiece in order to do it.
Fair enough. I would agree with that if Wade Barrett versus John Cena didn't happen.
That was not Wade
Sandow,
Barrett's fault. That was the Nexus fault and how they dropped the Nexus storyline. So I give Wade a little bit of credit on that because they dropped the ball with Nexus.
But Damian Sandow happened, same result.
I think they dropped the ball.
Bray Wyatt happened, same result.
Damian.
Bray Wyatt has been doing the same character for the last 2 or 3 years.
Bray Wyatt definitely got buried by John Cena. Jeez. Ryback, another person.
Right. So I'm not saying that you're completely like there's absolutely no merit for that. Okay. But it's just that, well, what about these other guys that were doing it right? We were interested in them, and then they faced John Cena, and then 3 months later they come back with a brand new gimmick because Cena buried that one. It's dead. It's done.
I got you.
I mean, hell, Cena got more bodies than The Undertaker, for real.
You're right. You're right.
So let's move into Do We Care real quickly and wrap this thing up. The Miz is selling his house. Do we care?
No.
Where's he moving from?
We don't care. So Titus O'Neil is speaking at UCLA. Do we care?
No.
Okay. And we have new cast members to replace Eva Marie in Total Divas.
Yes, I do care about that one.
Do we care?
Oh, okay. So now everybody watches Total Divas now, huh?
Well, I think I will because Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax are going to be on Total Divas this season. If you follow their Instagramification and the Twitter machine, you'll see that they definitely interact with each other and show up in each other's videos. So to see Nia was a big part of Breaking Ground.
Yep.
In that, she's not like most girls, as I've heard.
In case you haven't heard.
I haven't heard that. So it would be interesting to see her outside of it. Do you think heels should be on Total Divas, though?
They were. Lana, Eva Marie.
I don't think Eva Marie was a heel. She was just misunderstood.
Natalya. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. I've actually never seen a single episode of Total Divas.
Oh my god. Classic.
I've never seen one.
But it doesn't change the question. The question is, do you think heels should be on Total Divas? And yes, because of the reason the Revival said, how they said heels shouldn't take pictures with people, something like that. Right. I forget exactly his comments, but it made total sense. And agree, like you're still people. Regardless.
Jericho said a similar thing where it's like, I don't want to have merch and stuff like that because I'm a heel. You shouldn't be liking me. You shouldn't be buying my stuff. So that totally makes sense. But yeah, Jackson, Bliss, the Total Divas. Is there anybody that you would have rather have seen than them? I really can't think of anybody.
Not at this point.
Yeah.
Not
pretty much. So that was Do We Care?
Okay.
It's a lot that we don't care about this week.
So anyway, I guess we're wrapping up the show. Sellers, you have any closing remarks before we get out of here?
Yeah, definitely. Even though it's a lot of wrestling going on this weekend, it's a lot of outside organizations that need support this weekend. One big for us at the BGB group, the Pancreatic Cancer Walk will be in the Freedom Square of Washington, D.C., right off Pennsylvania Avenue. It's going to be a nice walk to honor those who are still fighting the cancer and those that have lost the battle on Earth but are winning in the afterlife. that we make sure that we just support all those members who are being affected by it. If you can come out to Washington, D.C., even though it's too late to register, still just come out to support the cause. To make sure you get.
There's other supporting cities too. So if take your time, do your research, find out when your local Purple Tribe Walk will be held in your city. Baltimore, I think, will be in like a month from here. So,
did we really want to walk through Baltimore?
Well, if it's a lap around the harbor, I'm perfectly fine. But anything else, I'm out of there. Okay. I wouldn't even, when they had the NASCAR race out there, I was like, nah, I'm good. No.
Oh, that was fun.
Also, I believe that there's a why is the name slipping off the tongue of my mouth?
The tongue of your mouth.
Tongue of my mouth, yes.
Krabby, you're funny.
Say it.
There's a LGBT community walk,
Pride
I believe.
Walk.
Yeah,
Yep, the
Pride.
parade.
There we go, Pride. That's what I'm looking for.
Pride
Walk also happening this week too. So a lot of things for you to get into in the local DMV area. So make sure you just take some time to support some other charitable events as well.
Absolutely.
John, and then of course there's definitely Level 4 Wrestling. If you
getting at that.
The first time that I've seen, you have an opportunity to control to shape the show. We all want to see good wrestling. We hope that we to see good wrestling, but now you have a hand in it. So I would definitely say, for $10, go vote. Go vote with your wallet. Go vote with the placards that they're going to give you at the show. Life is like a box of chocolate at the Annandale Volunteer Fire Department in Annandale, Virginia, on Columbia Pike. Help change and shape the wrestling promotion that you want to see. So
BGB
that's
will
going
be
to
there.
be a very interesting content.
We'll be there, so come holler at us. Let us know what you're feeling. Midway through the show, whenever you get a chance. There's breaks, and there'll be a breaks between the two shows. So come chat with us. Let us know what you liked and didn't like. We'll make sure we'll get over to Mike. But yeah, other than that, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again next week at our normal time at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with another weekly episode of the Big Go Boat Wrestling Podcast. So for 2 Chains, Giant Crab, and Silly Sellers himself, we'll catch you guys next week. And if you're in our town this week, we'll catch you Saturday.